you're paying more for that home. Yes, your rate is lower, but it actually costs you more in the long run.
So I bought the truck at the lower rate, and then I went to the local credit union and refinanced that thing right away and cut it in half.
Brilliant.
So hello and welcome to Sunbiz Studios right here in Sarasota, Florida, where we interview local businesses and people helping the community. And today we have Siri Calamese in here from Guild Mortgage.
Yes,
I think I got all right. Great. My business partner, Marius Mokan, is right here. We are realtors in town working with local businesses, and Siri has become a great partner with us. And we're here to talk a little bit about the market today. So thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having
me. Appreciate it. Got a couple people working with you now. Yeah. And, I think we were talking about getting this to a more of a kind of a weekly or monthly kind of update, because this is constantly changing and
every day
people are freaking out. And I think we, as in our business profession, understand this is just a cycle of business. Mm-hmm. And during the pandemic and everything, there was a different reason to buy.
Yeah,
everybody was forced to go to places they weren't used to, and now people are settling back down, and people are still having babies and families, and people retiring. So there's all those reasons come back in play, the real reasons to move.
Yeah.
So Marius, you just had a great podcast talking about moving in the area, right? Living here in Sarasota.
Siri and I. Yep.
So you'll be soon on your what's that? Discover SRQ.
Yes.
Your podcast. So, I think today we want to kind of start off with like the pain points, right? And our wonderful engineer over here, Lonanis, will explain a pain point. So we're going to talk about pain points, and I think it's really about buying, because whatever's stopping you from hitting your goals of buying, we want to address that, because you might have fears that are not necessarily have. I mean, I can't afford because the news says this, news says that, but it might not even pertain to your situation.
Absolutely.
So, is there something that you hear the most right now, maybe in today's market, is it's holding people back?
Yeah, I think we've been hearing this for a while now is, well, I can't buy because rates are just too high. Mm-hmm. It's not affordable. And, there's different ways to work around that. We have really implemented with the market currently utilizing seller concessions to do buy downs. So a 2-1 buy down where your rate is 2% less for the first year and then 1% less than your note rate. And that really gives you some lift on that interest rate pain point until the market does shift, and then you can do a refinance.
Okay. So, I mean, and just a quick plugging is, call you, it's not the end of the video here, but call you because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not a lender, and I don't understand all the tools that you have.
Yeah.
So I can just tell you, here's my situation. Mm-hmm. Do you have a tool that fits my situation?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the start.
Absolutely. And I'm big on education. So the clients that I work with, I really dive into what are your needs? How do I help serve you best for both buyers, but also my real estate agent partners, right? So when we come together and create a really strong partnership and add value and education to one another, I think that's where everyone wins, and those pain points hopefully are alleviated.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so now that we're talking about people's pain points, we're talking about rates being a concern for people. Where do you see rates going at the current moment?
Yeah, so it is really hard to predict. Every day is different in our industry. But as of right now, what we are anticipating is that there will likely be a rate cut in September, assuming that the economic situation kind of maintains where we're at currently. September, there should be a rate cut. And then realistically, if that happens, probably another one towards the end of the year. But that is all sort of due to change depending on, economic status and how things shift.
So given that information, I would say buy right now. I would just say buy right. Like, honestly, just take advantage of little things going on in the market. Like, there's always going to be like a little hole where you can take advantage of before people come out, because we got so many people in the wind, like right now, like, oh, as soon as it's like anywhere near 5, I'm going in, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like I just bought myself a brand new truck.
Yeah.
And they promoted great interest rates, and they promoted a great price. They said you can only have one. You know what I said? I said, I'm going to go for the better price and take the higher interest rate, because they gave me a 9% interest rate. But I told myself, I can always refinance that. So I bought the truck at the lower rate.
Yeah.
And then I went to the local credit union and refinanced that thing right away and cut it in half.
Brilliant.
More than half. And I'm just like, I can't refinance the price I paid for the thing, but I can refinance the rate. So
I think that is so true. Buyers right now don't necessarily understand if you're trying to time the market and you're waiting for rates to drop. Well, when they do drop, you're going to have an influx of people coming off the sidelines. The prices of the homes are going to increase because there's more demand. It's a supply and demand thing. And then you're paying more for that home. Yes, your rate is lower, but it actually costs you more in the long run.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it goes back to, I mean, I bought my house 27 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, for $140,000. Now it's $500,000. But, you know, if I'd have waited, like I'm going to wait another year, well, maybe I'd have paid $185 for that house 2 years later, you know, and you ride those dips. So, you know, if the time is right for your family, there's always somebody out there like yourself or ourselves in the realtor world that we just want to know your plan. How can we get your goal? Well, I have to be at this much money. I have to, you know, we're here to put the plans together. It's just not a one-step fix all, you know? So I think that's important. And I think in that rate, that is pretty cool trick with the truck there. I like that truck idea.
Yeah.
So, you know, so you gave us the rates. I'm going to let you know where I thought about the pricing of the homes and stuff we're looking at. And Sarasota is a little bit sheltered, different than the rest of the part of Florida and the rest of the U.S. is we're still a small town. Now we're growing a lot of builders. And I know you face this battle of competing with the builder's lender because they're offering some incentives. But again, that might fit their plan best, but doesn't rule out why can't we talk to another lender, because there's also things that come along with that package that they're giving you. Use our lender. They're not dropping the price down. There's other things that we can do. But what I'm seeing now is that we still have the builders building, but they're slowing down. They are offering incentives, but they're trying to get their inventory off their plate, and then they won't have to offer as many incentives until they can recoup and kind of adjust to the flow of people coming into the state. A lot more apartments and rentals are being built, so a lot of people are waiting on the sidelines there. But I do think that if your situation is have a family retire, or you know you're come from somewhere, there is something here for everybody. Condos are a little tricky right now, because the new condos, you don't have to worry about all the inspections and everything, but you do have to worry about the older condos going through all those new inspections, because we had that collapse in Miami several years ago, 3 years ago. So, but the market here, Marius just had a home in a very, specific neighborhood people wanted, and they paid almost $90,000 over for the house.
Right.
And I just got $22,000 off for somebody in another neighborhood off the asking price. So it's very, very specific to the areas they want to be in.
The price point.
Price points, and their lifestyle, because some people are willing to pay a little more to be in a very specific lifestyle, like Lake Club. Lake Club is a really nice neighborhood. You can't duplicate that neighborhood. So you're going to pay a little more to get in there because there's just not a lot of options.
Yeah. Right. Because when, the news tells us these crazy headlines like, oh my gosh, it's crashing, it's all coming down. It's like the gloves are off once you go into a specific neighborhood where the buyer doesn't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. They want the house. They want the house. They're cash, a lot of cash buyers. And we still see that there's a high amount of cash transactions going on. And once you get into these certain neighborhoods where you don't have the builders, where they're controlling the market, then it's all bets are off. What is your highest and best? Put your best foot forward. And what are you willing to walk away from the house? If you're willing to go the $90,000, if you're willing to go the $50,000, that's what it's going to take to get the house. And they always ask me, are they bluffing this and that? I'm like, I don't know. Do you want to find out? Like, it's that kind of game. And once you're going into like the $500,000 houses, I can get you a killer deal. I can
because there's so many of them.
I can negotiate a lower rate for you because I could get the seller to give you concessions to go. Right now, I've got a property where, we got an offer, full ask offer, but they want 4% back towards concessions. 4%. Yeah. That's, $14,000. It's a $350,000 house, but they're getting $14,000 towards their closing costs, towards their
taxes and fees,
fees, rate
all buy that, down, absolutely.
Rate buy down. And you can get it all now. Just ask. Yeah. You just have to ask for it because everything's negotiable in this.
Absolutely.
In this industry.
So for your side of the world in mortgage, you've already kind of gave us I wouldn't say a prediction, a trend of where things might be going, because you never will be held to it. I said this is going to happen, but are there any crazy new plans out right now, or something new and exciting? Or are we kind of the traditional, conventional FHA, VA.
Yeah. We are seeing your normal 30-year fixed conventional FHA, VA, USDA, but we are also seeing some ARM products come back.
Okay.
Just depending on where the market's at, some of them are competitive. So an ARM is an adjustable rate mortgage, and they have some different terms. So, for example, a 7-1 ARM is your interest rate is whatever the note rate is for 7 years, and then it adjusts after that. So that buys you some time for the next couple of years.
My brother's doing that.
Yeah.
He's doing a 7-1 ARM right now, and he's getting a 6.125.
Yeah. So oftentimes we're seeing that a little bit lower, which is nice. It gives you some relief.
It's really great because, I mean, some people don't even live in their house for 7 years. And in 7 years is plenty of time for the market to bounce, for the rates to come down.
To readjust.
Yeah.
To readjust. And, he's betting on the market, basically. He says, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be here for 7 years. There's no penalty to refinance or pay off the note. So
yeah. And honestly, a lot of life happens in 7 years, right? You may say, hey, this is no longer where we want to live. We've had job changes. Our family's growing. We've got kids moving out. Whatever's going on in life might make you pivot a little bit. So
everybody always likes to think that this is like their forever home, but it's not. It's not going to be your forever. I'm sorry to tell you, but you may love it right now, but you're going to figure out there's a different neighborhood. My friends are living over there. It's so great, Well,
especially if you move into a new area. I mean, as much as us realtors and all the people try to help you figure your areas out,
right?
You kind of get somewhere it's like, I really like this neighborhood better. My friends live there, or I got in here because it was reasonable at that time, or hey, I got in here and I thought I wanted all these amenities, and now I realize I don't use any of them. Yeah, and I'm spending $800 a month for them. So, like Mario says, I mean, we have a lot of people have moved in that 3 or 4 year period to saying like, hey, now we've been here a while. I'd rather have a little more lifestyle closer to downtown Sarasota, or I think I'd like to be out by Lakewood Ranch now because I've seen how the world lives out there. So that's available. Now on that loan, go back on that loan real quick. You said it's 7-1. Is there any? So he said there's no penalties for paying it off early. Mm-hmm. Now, if say the rates you lock me in at 6.2,
sure,
and then in 2 years I call you and say, hey, the rates are at 5 now. Is it? Can you refi inside that, or is it? Can you refi that inside that 7 years?
Yes, absolutely. You can do a refinance in the 7 years. Yeah. So in 2 years, in your example, you could call me up and say, hey, I want to do a refinance. Cool. We figure out what works best for you, whether that's another ARM or potentially a conventional 30-year fixed or a 15-year. Whatever suits you best, then you are plugged into that.
Okay. And new closing costs and everything, obviously, because you're switching loans.
It's a new loan.
Yeah, but they're gonna roll that up into the new loan. They're gonna take all your fees and roll it up in there, so you're literally just signing on the dotted line.
Yeah. It doesn't really cost you anything out of pocket on the day of closing.
Sure. No, it's great. I mean, and again, you don't know what you don't know, right? Yeah. I mean, all I know is I want to buy a house, and I have $50,000. What do I do, Siri? Well, here's your 17 options, but let's narrow it down to 3.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Because it depends on what your end goal is too. Because if I'm an investor, it's totally different than him moving in with his family.
Absolutely.
Two totally different goals. So, 7 years down the road or 12 years down the road, I might be flipping this in 3 years.
Yeah.
Who cares about 14% because, it's being paid by a certain way through the renter.
Right.
And it got me into the property and it did what I needed it for that avenue.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest sort of advice I give everybody. Do not be a tenant. Like, it's just not worth it. It may look like it's a lower payment at one point or another, but that equity you're missing out on is just too good.
At the end of the day, you're just paying someone else's mortgage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a ton of advantages we can go through with anybody, but just the write-offs, the depreciation. There's so many more things that helps your paycheck from day to day, week to week, month to month, that comes with owning a home. It just really does. So, but, I think that's a good market recap. I think just getting, again, we're trying to address pain points. We want people to ask us questions. That's all we're here for. I just want the conversation.
Yeah.
I want to talk to 100 people to do 2 deals. I want to figure out how we can help. And believe me, I've told people that I don't have the tools to fix what you're doing, but I would turn it over to somebody that's an expert in that specific real estate market, like, 100 doors. Hey, I know enough about it, but let's get you somebody who does it every day.
Yeah.
And that's why I take them over to Michelle. She was in here with Robert the other day. 100 doors, man. That's her thing. She can make it happen. But we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. We're probably gonna make this a monthly thing, I would think, because the market is never the same.
Ever changing.
And we want to be here to answer those questions. So thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll see you soon.